Hey, what's up, guys? It says, I just wanted to do a little quick video about Darth microtransactions, talking about he wants to move out of Alaska. What a incredibly hard thing to do, moving anywhere. You're not really sure about where you're going. If you're moving out of state, you don't know what to expect, weather, the type of people, the culture, community wise, even like in a city. So you pick, there's like 100 different cities in the state, and you don't know if you're going to pick the wrong city that has like a really high crime or crappy community. Statistics aren't always correct. So it could say there's like a high amount of crime in this community, but like everybody there is super sweet. Like you just don't know from reading vague words. So it's just like, and then the money that goes into it, like the investment of just moving, taking all your crap with you, buying a house or leasing an apartment, whatever you're doing, it's just a huge investment as well. Plus, you're leaving a lot of people behind. So, like, if you have a lot of family there, you feel like, damn, I'm leaving a lot of my family behind. So maybe you don't want to go too far. But then you realize, damn, I didn't move far enough because it still feels the same as where I came from. Now, I had been a truck driver for 8 years, and when I saw Darth post this video, man, I felt like I had a call to action. I felt like I had to like jump in here and give him my 2 cents from my time traveling around all the lower 48 states, spending time in most of the major cities in every one of those 48 states. More than just, just driving on through. I actually spent time in cities and done things. I've been out on roads that were less traveled. I've been through a lot of these flyover states, they call it. And I just want to give Darth my personal opinion. I want to go through this video a little bit and break it down and, yeah, try to aim for that. So let's get into it. So, fair disclaimer, I've already watched this video and I was like, damn, I have to watch it again and break it down. I left him this long comment in the YouTube section, and I was like, there's no way he's going to see my comment. And there's probably no way he's going to see this video of me reacting to his video, maybe. And he may not even approve of it. And hey, Darth, if you want me to take down this video, dude, I totally get it. I didn't even ask you for permission, but I just wanted to help out, man. Maybe if you can get a couple of my opinions, because I can see the look on your face, even right here, from this still. This looks like a guy that needs some change in his life. He needs some growth. I totally get it. So hopefully I can give a different perspective, man. That's all I'm trying to do. So hopefully you respond to this well. And if you don't, hey, it's totally fine. I'm no hard feelings.
I think I'm about ready for a change. It's been 33 years now, as of January, that I will have lived in Alaska. For those that don't know, I actually do live in Alaska. I've got a couple videos talking about it on
So
the
he's the
other
same age
channel
as
about
me.
my experiences of living here. There are a lot of pros to living in Alaska. There's a lot of cons to living in Alaska. But I have been here 33 years as of January. And if you're wondering why, it's because it's my spawn. This is where I sort of popped out my mom here in Alaska, and I have remained because it has been close to family, and some of my family had health conditions that I
It's
was worried
home.
about. So
It's
I
home.
decided to remain here. But as time has gone on, and as it's become more and more apparent that everyone's going to be okay, and as I get older, I start to experience what I think a lot of us feel in life, which is
I want to talk about what he said right there real quick. He said everything's going to be okay. I think he's talking about his family being okay with the idea of him leaving, idea of him moving away. And also maybe that his family is going to be okay in terms of finances, health, like whatever's going to happen. I'm pretty sure he's had a good long conversation with his family about this. He chose specifically to say that really quick. So he's got family support. So it may not be the issue of him moving too far away. That may not be an issue. So he may go wherever he wants to go and not have to worry about his family, which is a good thing because his family supporting him and he doesn't have to worry about the troubles of health or finances for his family back home, like his mom or dad. I don't know Dar's personal background, but everybody has a mom and a dad. Or maybe he's close with his sisters, a brother, or he doesn't have any of that, or if he does, like his family is cool and they're on board to support his decision to move for his personal happiness.
The wanting to try something different or more, you call it a midlife crisis if you really want to, but you have to understand, I've
You're not old enough yet, brother. I'm the same age as you, man. I know I call myself an old man all the time, but you're not there yet. That happens at 40.
never really had the capability to even think about moving. But because of the job that I have slowly developed over the years, and because of the recent success that has been thrust upon us, where we are doing better than we used to, we got these cool YouTube plaques in the wall and stuff now. I've realized I actually have a very real opportunity to get out of Alaska and move somewhere else.
Yeah, because he's got an option now. He's got more money. And maybe he's always had it in the back of his head, like, yeah, Alaska's cool and all, but I'm really tired of this freaking place, man. 33 years. 33 years of dealing with the harshness of the North. I spent time up in the North, like places like Detroit, Michigan, Wisconsin. I say specifically Detroit because I have friends that live up there, and I've experienced a really bad winter up in Detroit. I've been in whiteouts around the Great Lakes, or where you can't even see more than 2 feet, 1 foot, something like that in front of your semi truck, or even a car when I was over there on Interstate 90. Um, yeah. So the North really sucks in that regard. All the ice, all the snow, everything you got to deal with. It can be annoying to deal with all the time. So I get it.
And this is sort of where I suppose I would ask your guys' recommendations. Where are you from? What do you like about it there? On the live streams,
So I can't do a live stream with you, buddy. Unfortunately, my mom just went into the ER a couple days ago, and I feel like I got my head going crazy because I am also in a certain spot in my life where I'm looking for a job and also trying to make content on YouTube. But I do want to say this: I'm trying my best with this video and the long kind of long tedious comment I left in your YouTube video on this specifically. And I'm gonna tell you, introduce myself. My name is Ez. I live in Georgia. I'm in the Atlanta area, but I'm on the outside of Atlanta metro area. I uh I enjoy it. I'm like literally off Interstate 85. I'm in a really diverse part of the town. I'm probably one of the only white people around here. I'm actually Hispanic, so I'm a jack of all trades. What's up? But yeah, well, the area I live at is pretty chill. Lots of stores. I wouldn't say it's chill because there's stores, but we have one of the biggest car scenes out here in like Lilburn, Tucker, Norcross. Like these are the cities I'm referring to. I'm not trying to dox myself. You can figure out which one of those cities I live in. I gave you a hint. It's one of those three. But yeah, it's pretty cool over here, man. I'm not too far from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Stone Mountain, Georgia, to me is like when you live in the big city or close to a big city like Atlanta and all these other mini big cities that surround it, and that's why it's called the Greater Atlanta area. Stone Mountain, Georgia is like your last reprieve that you can go to and be out in the wilderness a little bit if you felt like you've been looking too long in the concrete jungle and you want to get back out into nature. Plus, we have plenty of lakes and rivers to go tubing and go fishing or just go out boat riding or go chilling on the shore at the lake, like Lake Lanier and all these other places. There's so many lakes around this area and big rivers where you can just chill, man, have a good time, rent some lake houses, get drunk, celebrate 4th of July at Stone Mountain, Georgia. I forgot to mention that. They do a laser show, I think 3 times out of the week or 2 times out of the week, but definitely on every national holiday, they will be doing laser shows. During the winter months, they got like a snow mountain. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of Snow Mountain because it's like a good place to bring the family and it's a good place for you as a content creator or just as a normal person that's working like a crap ton of hours to go and just rewind, relax, or I didn't mean to say rewind, but unwind, relax, and just take a lot of stress off you and just be one with the trees. And it is pretty, and you can hike up to the top of Stone Mountain. It's like 1,600 feet. It's by no means a big mountain, but I want to say it's about like what, half a mile. I can't even remember, but it is a good walk up. You will be hiking for at least 30 to 45 minutes to get to the top. And once you're up there, you can see three major cities. You can see Atlanta, you can see Buckhead, and damn, I forgot the third one, so I'm looking stupid and sounding like a liar. I'll just say I'm lying. I won't say I'm stupid, but I will say I'm lying. But you can see three big cities, but you'll have to figure out which one of those is the lie. Um, and it's pretty much on those cases that I think just living in this area is pretty cool because you have access to a lot of these things. You have access to just like a lot of lakes, rivers, and stuff like that to unwind, even though you're living in a big city environment.
Lately, I've been doing quite a bit of house hunting everywhere within the US. We even looked at like Puerto Rico and some random places, trying to find an idea of where to move and what kind of houses, would be possible with the budget we're working with. And really, it's not a ton. Um,
Okay, so that's kind of an issue. If I had an idea, but I guess he did give me an idea, it's not a ton. So it depends on what does he have for the monthly mortgage versus what does he have for the down payment versus what is the max limit of the house he's looking for. Because living around Atlanta is not cheap. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It is not cheap. I think it's worth it, depending on where you go. It's not a bad idea to move an hour or 30 minutes to an hour outside the Atlanta area. You're still close enough. And I think 30 minutes to an hour outside of Atlanta is probably the better bet anyway. Honestly, for somebody that lives only 15 minutes away from downtown, or about 25 minutes actually. I on the I'm off I-85. I'm over here around Tucker, Lilburn, and Norcross in that area, right off 285 on the northeast side of Atlanta. And it takes me about it's only 15 miles or something like that, but it takes about 25 minutes to get into Atlanta because of traffic and whatnot. So I think if I was just 20 more minutes up the road, up Interstate 85, I'd be a little bit happier. I have some family that lives in Winder, Georgia, which is off Interstate 85. It's just another 25 or so minutes from me up there, so it's not a bad idea. You get a little bit more out in the woods. Atlanta's popping up. The whole Georgia's popping up. You got a lot of development going on the roads. They're increasing like lanes on I-85, and they're trying to increase some lanes on the other interstates going in and out of or to Atlanta. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of development going on in Georgia. Plus, it's just a pretty state. It's like Atlanta. I like to call it a city within trees, or a city inside trees. So
but it seems to me like there are some places which would be viable to actually move. But then you end up talking to the people that are from there and they got their own pros and cons about it, And a lot of times people tell me that they actually want to move to Alaska and that they are surprised that I would want to move from Alaska. And that's where I try to explain to them, like, if you're an indoorsy person who only wants to go outside now and then when the weather's nice, Alaska is not really the place to be. You would think it would be the opposite. You would think, well, you're indoors all the time. You don't have to endure the weather. But when you do go out, it's this whole thing. It de incentivizes you wanting to go out. So,
this hits hard right here. I feel like he's speaking to me now more than me trying to speak back to him because me and my buddy, my other truck driving buddy, we both wanted to move to Alaska. So him saying this is actually a big insight. I appreciate this. I don't want to move out of Georgia anymore, just to be clear. I think this state is the best state of all 48 states I've ever been to. I fell in love with the West. Utah, New Mexico, Wyoming, Montana. Like I've been all over. Washington, Oregon, California. Did I say Arizona? I said New Mexico. Oh, I hope I'm not going crazy here, but Colorado. Definitely been to Colorado a bunch of times out in Denver and Colorado Springs. I've been all the freak over, man. And I'll tell you what, I loved it so much. I thought about moving out west. But then instead of me just driving through those states and those major cities out there like Denver, I've actually spent some time in them, and I got to know the people more, and I got to conversate and socialize, and I guess that's the same word, and I'm using it twice, but we're rolling with it. And then you get a feel for how people react and how cordial are they and how friendly are they and how's the traffic, and traffic is important because that's what you're going to be dealing with a lot of the times if you want to get anywhere. How's the behavior of the people on the road when they're driving? Are they assholes, or are they cool, or are they polite, whatever it is. So all this stuff matters, and the experiences I had is just down south, we're chill. Now I brought my southern hospitality out to the West Coast. It seemed to vibe okay for the most part. I never got into any conflict with anybody. Well, that's a lie. I did get in a conflict with a couple of crackheads in Yakima, Washington, but that's neither here nor there. I'm talking more specifically like Cali. Cali was cool. The people there were cool, but I could tell it just felt fake. The politeness felt fake. It seems like everybody's putting on a mask in California of politeness, but it's not real. Anyway, I digress. It's just a big thing. Like, you don't want to move to a state where you don't even know how the collective of people that live in that state, let alone in that certain city, because for example, Georgia, people in Atlanta may act differently than people down in Macon, and people in Macon may act differently than people in Athens, Georgia. These are all cities in Georgia, sorry. And then people in Athens, Georgia may act differently than people in Columbus, Georgia. And this is very true. But we all act like Georgians to a degree. We all act like Southeasterners to a degree. It's all extensions, sub extensions of each other. So, you don't want to move to the wrong state, wrong city, where your character does not vibe. And I feel like Atlanta area, not talking specifically Atlanta, but everything that's like within like a 50-mile radius of Atlanta city zone, feels like chill ass people here, man. Everybody's like an artist here. Everybody loves music here. It's like a big scene. Yeah, you got crime here. Yeah, I mean, you got some freaking places that are pretty rough, just like any other city. But for the most part, everybody's super chill. I was talking to this one guy when I was a truck driver delivering around here, and he had like an anime sword that he welded and created because he was a welder at some place where they were making like, I don't even know what he was making. It was some kind of brackets for a machine. And he was like, well, with me learning how to weld here and to get more comfortable welding, I decided to make my own little sword. It's in my car. You want to check it out? It's like, sure, dude. Went over there, checked out, and he pulls out this freaking like anime sword that looked like what's the game? Final Fantasy with like Cloud or something. I was like, what the hell is this, dude? It was cool though. It was cool. I was like, man, that's badass. But there's a lot of people like that. You got this place called Five Points in Atlanta, where there's like these like jewelry, like gemstone shops, like witchcraft and stuff, and then you got like Trader Joe's, which is like I really don't know what Trader Joe's is. I've been in there a couple of times. It's like a thrift store kind of deal, but it feels like super hippie, but they got like these cool graphics on the building. There's like all these little mini stores there in Five Points. They got the Vortex Bar and Grill, which is it's kind of like a comedy club, but like a burger joint, and slash bar. So it's a pretty cool place to go grab a burger. They're pretty good. And that's one thing too about Atlanta is the food. I'm not a big foodie, obviously. I'm lying. But no, this is from 8 years of trucking, buddy. But Atlanta has some of the best food that you can get. It's just very diverse. Like I said, it's just a diverse place to be. And you have a big population of Asian people here, Hispanics. You have a couple of Jamaican people. I love eating Jamaican food. There's actually a Jamaican spot not even a quarter mile from my house, right next to the Walmart, and like in the same parking lot. It's freaking good. There's an Indian presence here as well. There's so much food. I love the area I live at. There's a huge Asian population here, so we just have so much hibachis and so much Korean barbecue. It's freaking awesome. Japanese sushi, what do you call it? Sushi bars. I don't like fish, so I never go in there. But we have ramen places like ramen stands. God, dude. Always wanted to go to Japan just to experience that, sitting like at a Naruto style like ramen stand, and kind of got that over here. A little bit more professional. like a big actual brick and mortar building and whatnot. But yeah, still same thing, same thing.
If I go outside, I know I'm going to have to clear off snow. In fact, I was trying to live stream the other day.
You won't have that issue down south, brother. You will never have to worry about clearing off snow except once in every 10 years. And even then, it's probably going to be ice, so you're screwed anyway.
All right. Literally yesterday, I was trying to live stream, and we had a weather warning that we were going to get 2 to 4 feet of snow within the next 24 hours. And for hours, my power was down. The snowstorm literally took out the power for hours, and I was unable to live stream. I actually had to cancel my doctor appointment, trying to get to the doctor to follow up on the ear thing. So there are times when it can be very frustrating to live here. And I'm trying to get out of my cabin and experience more of the world. I'm trying, I mean, we got this backpack thing, right? We got this backpack thing, trying to show you guys more of Alaska, get outside more in days for the live streams. And I feel like every winter I get hammered back inside, like the snow shows up and it gets colder. And, I don't have really winter toys or anything to do with it. I mean, most people don't really. And there's not really like a lot to do or see in the winter. It's just
Do a 6 mile hike in one direction, then 6 miles back, so 12 miles total through 4 feet of snow.
a bunch of snow. But I'm realizing every time I go to one of these conventions like TwitchCon or something, when it's nice out, who would have guessed it actually feels good to be in the sun? And so I'm starting to get to a point after all these years of thinking about making a change, and I could honestly, I could use your guys' help. I mean, not financially or anything. I'm actually fine. You guys have done all that, but trying to decide where to move in particular. Advice is actually what I could use to help with. So if you guys don't mind today, I'm going to be live because I have this event I'm doing with my buddy Gazi. We're going to chat about some games and play this new PoE event that's coming out. But if you have a recommendation on where you live and what you think about it, you don't have to dox yourself to me, but just, maybe like the state you're from, your pros and cons. I honestly would love to hear it.
That part out. I'm from Georgia. I am from the northeast side off of Atlanta, so outside of the perimeter interstate 285. I'm the outside of Atlanta part of it, but very close. I'm like literally the first exit off of Interstate 85. I live in the suburbs out in this area. I love it here. It's very diverse. All the food, like I mentioned before, plenty of parks. Plenty of parks. Stone Mountain, Georgia being one of the best ones. You get to hike up the mountain. You have a 6 mile trip around the mountain, so out in the woods. Plenty of activities if you have a family or want to do things with friends. You got RV campgrounds, but if you live there, I guess you don't really want to do a RV, but they have campsites, so places to come and grill out and barbecue. They actually have like the grills that are stationed outside. Just a cool place if you still want to have nature but live in that city environment. That's why I'm mentioning Stone Mountain, because it's so important. You gotta keep in mind, not everybody likes living in the city. Not everybody likes living in the city. So if you can tell them, hey, you can still have the city life and have like a essence of living out in the country or essence of being out in the woods, which is important to me because I was raised in the woods in South Georgia, and then I moved to the city when I was 10. And I've been depressed ever since. So Stone Mountain, Georgia is important for me because I get to go back into that. Plus the town of Stone Mountain, Georgia is really nice. It's like this like progressive, not that I care about that, but if you do, that may like be a plus. They have like all these really cool restaurants, stoned pizza, and then right down like a block down, they got like this Philly cheesesteak place that's known for like freaking awesome Phillies. And then they got like this Cherokee Rose restaurant that's kind of a little bit more upscale on their menu, and it's like not fine dining, but it's fine dining for broke people, I guess. And then Stone Mountain Brewery called oh shit, man. Outrunners. I have their hat on my wall. I used to go there all the time. They make really awesome beer. Their sours are my favorite. Screw the IPAs. But yeah, it's a cool place, So whenever you go to the mountain hiking, you get done hiking, you can go over to the brewery, have yourself a little brewski, and maybe a little pizza because the brewery allows you to bring outside food, and sometimes they have like comedy shows going on. And I mean, it's just Stone Mountain, Georgia, but every place, like every place, every part in Atlanta is like this. In or outside of Atlanta area is like this. Just people getting together, chilling, having a good time. I love it. Uh, Big food scene, stuff like that. We're not too far away from any major lakes, rivers, any of those kind of activities go hand in hand, like grilling, bringing a boat, going fishing, going tubing down the river. We got spots like that where you can just throw out an inner tube out there and lay on it and have your alcohol and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. The mountain, I will say this, Gatlinburg, Tennessee is about, it's in reality it's 2 hours away, but with the slow windy mountain road you'll be taking to get there, it'll be more like 2.5 to 3 hours to get to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So you're not too far from that. You're not too far from Asheville, North Carolina. You're not far from Tybee Island, Georgia, which is Georgia's beach. That's about a 4-hour car trip, maybe 3.5 if you break the speed limit by a lot. Panama City, Florida, that's only about 5 hours away. Destin, Florida, same thing, So Tampa is about 6.5, 7 hours away. So it's not too bad. It's starting to get there to like, okay, that's a little trip, but it's not too bad. And anywhere else you want to go, it's really a short plane trip. It's not going to take too long. For example, I flew from Chicago down to Atlanta, and that only took an hour and a half. So I can only imagine from flying from Atlanta to Miami should take roughly the same time or way even less. Maybe just an hour. So you're not too far. And to fly over to Texas or something like that, same thing. Shouldn't take too long. So I think Georgia is a well-rounded state. You literally have mountains, lakes, rivers, beaches, forests, countryside, plenty of countryside. So if you don't even want to live near the city like I do or in the city, there's plenty of countryside to move out to. We have the mountains in the north, and it gets really flat, like right around Macon and down. But plenty of farmland, plenty of forest. The farmlands we have here in Georgia are kind of small because there's a lot more like, it's just a whole state in a forest. There's a reason why King George named the state after himself. It was his personal hunting ground. He loved it. So, yeah, it's just a huge forest state, and it's very beautiful. And if you guys, anybody that's watching this video, if Darth ever sees this, take some time just to get in the car and just drive around on these local routes and state routes through Georgia and just take it all in. Because when I was in my truck, my semi truck doing that, like I really got to understand my state more. I knew I grew up in the South. I got to see that type of it, but I didn't get to see the other parts of Georgia, and it kind of blew my mind. I was like, wow, man, there's all kinds of different shit here. You also have the Okefenokee Swamp down south. Let me go ahead and mention that, where you get to go in there and ride with the alligators, like it, not actually ride them, but you get in the canoe or whatever, or the boat, and you ride out in the Okefenokee Swamp. And true story, when I was a kid, I tried to pet an alligator in the Okefenokee. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Try to like pick up rattlesnakes and everything. I was a pretty wild child, man. Um, but yeah, Georgia, I just feel like it's a well-rounded state. I can't say that enough. I've been to all 48 states. People up in the Northeast are very aggressive, but they're cool though. They are polite, but in their own way. But you will find some people who are just literal assholes. That could be said anywhere, right? I'm not saying the Southeast is immune to it. I love people in the Northeast. Let me go ahead and bring that back a little bit in case anybody in the Northeast gets offended a little bit. I do love the Northeast. Would I want to live where you're at? No. Everything looks dirty. Same thing with the Midwest, like Chicago and Detroit, Gary, Indiana. I spent like 4 weeks in Gary, Indiana once. Oh my god. That's for anyone that doesn't know, Gary, Indiana is like maybe a 40-minute car ride from Chicago. It's southeast of Chicago. It's right there where Illinois border and Indiana border like meet. That and then Gary starts. So you're not too far from Chicago and Gary, Indiana. And what a What a shit show that was. I don't care if you are from Gary and get offended. What a shit show, man. But yeah, so the Midwest to me is like dirty. The Northeast is dirty. Too compact. PA, Pennsylvania, same issue. Too compact. Too many hills, not enough places to move around. The houses, everything's just like built on these hills, so they're all like compacted. And then it gets worse the further in the Northeast you go. Maybe not with the hills so much, but just with like the amount of people that are living there. See, in the South, it hasn't gotten that bad. So houses actually have acreage. Like the house I'm living at has half, in between half and a whole full acre. So it's enough, to feel like I have some land, but not enough to where I have to take care of a huge amount of land. Like people with like 5, 10, and 20 acres, like they got a lot of yard work to do. And you will find those kind of houses down south, but you can also find houses that actually have a front and a backyard that's decent size like mine. I think this house is like 0.8 acres, so it's almost a full acre. But man, I'm getting way off topic. I'm just like rambling inside my own head, and this is not what Darth is looking for at all. Darth, what I can tell you, buddy, is in the South, it's true what they say, Southern hospitality, but it's not going to be given to everybody. Sorry, I was trying to kill a fly there, man. You will have lots of that too. Flies in December, November, January. Like, aren't these suckers supposed to be hibernating or dead? You will get that a lot in the South. Get a lot of bugs. Mosquitoes. You get a lot of mosquitoes, bud. But I can't recommend a better place to come live than Georgia, even if you don't want to be in the Atlanta area. If you just come within an hour, 2 hours, like if you want to go to Athens, Georgia instead, which is like, I want to say about an hour from Atlanta, maybe a little bit more, hour and a half. It's not too far though. Augusta, that's on the border of South Carolina, Georgia, down the southeast. Augusta, that's about a 2 hour, 2.5 hour drive from Atlanta if you want to go to Augusta. Or if you want to live in Augusta and come to Atlanta, wherever you pick, man, I just think Georgia is a cool place to be. You're not too far from anything. Beaches, like I said, forests, lakes, mountains. North Georgia is really beautiful because that's the Appalachian foothills. It's connected to the Smoky Mountains, and then there's that as well. You're not too far from Gatlinburg, Tennessee. You're not too far from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. You're not too far from Knoxville. You're not too far from Nashville. If you want to go check out those venues in Nashville, that's like a 4 hour ride, car ride. Ruby Falls, outside of Chattanooga, that's not far. That's a 2 hour trip, maybe 2 hour and 20 minutes. My point is, Atlanta's in the right place, man. It's smack dab to all this shit. If you ever get tired of city living, you got some extra cash on you, and you're like, dude, I want to go hit up the mountains. Or, bro, I want to go to the beach. Or, bro, I want to go somewhere cool, like, and not spend a large amount of time in a plane. Like, I want to go see New York City. It's not going to take a long time to fly from Atlanta to New York, Atlanta to Detroit, Atlanta to Chicago. If you want to go chill and vibe, man, Atlanta to Houston, Texas. It's not going to take a long time to fly anywhere from Atlanta. So just give it some thought, man. I think literally from going from Alaska, you still want to have a pretty place to live. And it's going to be different. In the Southeast, the geography is really different. I feel like Georgia and South Carolina share a lot of the same geography. And I get this from when I was driving. I've driven over 1,000,000 miles. And a lot of that has been in the Southeast. I've driven all over the United States, but a lot of that has been in the Southeast. And I can see where the terrain is changing. I paid attention to that kind of stuff. Georgia is like a mix of Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, and Florida. It's got it all. It's got those 4 states into one to make Georgia. You got the mountains on the border side of Tennessee and North Carolina. Sorry, I left out North Carolina. You got that, the mountainous and hilly. Then over to the west side of Georgia, you got that hilliness side too, like Alabama and the forest. Like Alabama has. Alabama's a beautiful state too. I will say that. Alabama may be your second best option because it's cheap, affordable houses out there. Birmingham is popping up, but I still recommend Atlanta, brother. Then you got Florida, down south with the flatlands and marshes and like your pine tree forests and stuff like that. Georgia has that too. And your farms, Georgia has that too. And then South Carolina with your beautiful oak trees with the Spanish moss hanging down and that vibe you only get from South Carolina, man. Georgia's got some of that down in Savannah. Savannah's an awesome. That's another cool city, man. Now I don't recommend living in Savannah, but it's not too far to travel to if you live in Atlanta. And even more so if you live in Augusta. It's not too far to travel there. Why would you want to be in Georgia? Let's get to the brass tacks here. Why would you want to be in Georgia? Why would you want to live in Georgia? Why am I hyping it up so much? I have thought about moving outside of Georgia many times. I have thought about moving to other states simply and solely for the fact that they looked beautiful. It's like, man, this is so cool. Look at these mountains. Look at the colors. Oh my God, this is amazing. And then when I was in my truck heading back home or whatever, after I'd spent like an odd amount of weeks out over the road, start heading back to Georgia. And it was just something about crossing the Alabama state line or the Tennessee state line or wherever I was coming back from out west, coming back in and crossing back into Georgia. Just how clean it looks here. How beautiful the forests are here. The nice gradual graze and rise of the hills. It's just the grass even. Jesus, like the grass, dude. Think of the grass. Everything just screamed out to me that this is home. Straight up. It just feels like home. It feels like home because I'm content here because of the access of a multitude of things that I have around me. I didn't like Atlanta when I came here. I still kind of don't. But I look at the things that living here provides in terms of options. Beaches are not too far. Forests are not too far. Lakes are not too far. Rivers are not too far. Um, Big racing scene down here in Atlanta. Big car scene. So if you're into that, that's a thing too. And man, I just think living so close to the Smokies is really cool as well. So think of Atlanta as the gateway to a lot of things that you could do. If you have the gumption to want to take at least an hour or two car ride. And let's be honest, we live in the United States, so you're going to be taking a car trip anywhere. I mean, good Lord, it takes most people like 30 minutes just to go to the gas station or to a grocery store. When they leave out of their house, they're like, man, I need to go grocery shopping. And it's like 30 minutes to 45 minutes away. Most people take an hour to go to work every day and then an hour to drive back. Like we are a car country. And I think Atlanta is in that perfect prime spot where most of these things are within reason to traveling out to and having fun. Now, as for the people are chill. We're Southerners. It may be Atlanta, maybe a little bit more. Maybe the ego's a little bit up more, but nah, just depends on who you're around, brother, because Atlanta is still the South and it's still chill ass people, man. I noticed a lot more like movie people coming here too because I guess of Netflix. So that's kind of cool too, man. And these people aren't from here. And then we have a lot of foreigners here as well that I vibe with quite a bit. A lot of my friends are actually Hispanic, and it's just a very diverse crowd down here. Like I said, or maybe I didn't say this, but I'm the only light skinned person in my area, and it doesn't bug me, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I'm Hispanic, but I'm white, I'm Caucasian, I'm a Caucasian Hispanic. It's totally fine, man. Yo no preocupado por nada. I'm a native English speaker, by the way, so excuse me, fluent Spanish speakers, if I just slaughtered the hell out of that, but I didn't practice Spanish too much. My wife is Cuban. She speaks Spanish, so I'm trying my best to learn now so I can speak to her. But yeah, man, it's just a cool place to be, I feel. It's just really good people. Everything is diverse. You got a lot of shit to do here. Houses, like financial wise, houses here are expensive. I'm not gonna lie to you, Darth. You will have to pay at least half a million, I think, or a little under, somewhere around there. For example, the house that I'm at was around 80 grand when we got it like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and now it is I think approaching 300,000. And the house is junk. Like where I live, this house is a piece of crap, and it valued like went up almost like 3x. Everything's like that. It's not just a Georgia thing. Like the whole country's like that right now. But here in the Atlanta area, and I keep saying Atlanta, but keep in mind, Darth, I'm speaking outside of 285. So if this is Atlanta, I'm talking about everything else that's not Atlanta when I say Atlanta area, because I live in the Atlanta area. This is where you want to live anyway. I don't recommend living inside the city. I think a guy like you, if you like the countryside, get about an hour outside the city, maybe an hour and a half. So where you can take an hour and a half drive into Atlanta. I'm about 30 minutes away from Atlanta. A little less than that. 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but we'll say 30. I wouldn't want to be any closer. I have lived in Atlanta. I have lived in downtown. I could literally walk to the Fulton County Jail in like 10 seconds from the loft that I lived down there. I could walk to the back when the Georgia Dome was still a thing. Now it's the Mercedes-Benz Dome or Stadium. I could walk there in like 2, 3, 4 minutes, something like that. Gucci Man talks about Magic City Strip Club a lot. I could walk there in 30 seconds, 20 seconds, because it's right next door to the Garnett train station. So the loft I was at, I could walk anywhere. So I lived in downtown. I lived in the heart of downtown Atlanta. It was cool. Wouldn't want to do it again because I felt like a prisoner. Felt like a prisoner in that city. It was cool. Not a good vibe though. More of a flex than anything. More of a flex than anything. Give me the forest. Give me the country roads. Take me home. Yeah, Darth. Getting way off topic here. I'm the type of person I need somebody to talk to be able to like center my thoughts in, man. Um, I hope. I feel like I'm missing out on a lot because of that. Because I don't have somebody here to physically talk to help me channel my thoughts better. But I've been all around the country. And I've seen good and bad people everywhere that I have been. Everywhere. It's not specifically in the Northeast. Like I've said, you got rude people up there. We're out in Cali where there's like the fake politeness, but people are like ready to attack you at any second. It's not any of that specifically. It's not even about Southern hospitality because you have some Southern assholes as well. You know what I mean? Like, especially in Tennessee. Screw you guys. I like Tennessee. Tennessee's cool. But you guys can be a little some pricks sometimes. But yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool. I wouldn't go to live in Florida because it's just super expensive. I wouldn't try to live too close to Atlanta because it's super expensive. But oddly enough, the further north you go of Atlanta, it gets expensive in its own way again. So you got to kind of like pick this perfect balance. Texas is one of those things where that state is kind of like on the downtrend. It's expensive to live. Alabama is very cheap to live, and the prices are starting to go up there. It's a beautiful state to live. Plenty of lakes. Even I think maybe even more than Georgia. I could be wrong, but northern Alabama would be a nice place to live because it's very similar to Georgia, northern Georgia. So except with a little bit more lakes and forest and lack of people. That's how I feel about northern Alabama. So Yeah, man, the Midwest, like Chicago, Detroit areas, I'd stay away from. I got buddies that live in Detroit. They they don't really hate it, but I've been up there. I've spent time with them up there. It's it's a city. The people are cool. And yeah, I realize I'm just talking trash and smashing on a whole bunch of cities and states here, and that's gonna bring a lot of hate my way, but bro, if you don't like it, too bad. It's my opinion. Trying to help my boy Darth out here. I want to send him to a place where a bunch of assholes are at, man. Hey Darth, if assholes don't bug you, yeah, sure, go to Chicago and Detroit, man. You'll be fine. Go to New Jersey, go to New York. You'll be all right, brother. But if you're looking for just chill people, man, where everybody's kind of like open to ideas and just chilling, yeah, I'd say Atlanta, brother. I say Atlanta big time. Just this area in general. Decent housing, shit ton of new houses are being built all the time in this area. You're close to everything. I mean, how much more can I say the same thing over and over and over? I'm already at 45 minutes into this for a 6 minute, well, 4 minutes and 28 seconds. I just have a lot to say, man. Maybe I say the same thing too much, but
Because I'm legitimately, I'm just done. I'm just done with Alaska. I need to get out of here. I'll be honest. I need to get. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good for me to be here. I was at one point I was building this Sprinter van that I have since handed over to my mom and dad, who use it way more than I could ever use it. But I was building it with the idea of this concept of let me go out and do some adventure. I'm trying to get out of the box, but YouTube can be really like not good.
saying is come down to Georgia, brother. You have so many places to go hiking here. You don't need a Sprinter van, but it's cool if you bring it. You know, more power to you. The Everglades aren't that far. What about a 10-hour trip in the car that you would fly at that point? Take that Sprinter van to a lot of cool places in the panhandle of Florida. Only take you 5 hours to drive down there. Now you got your own freaking Sprinter van. I'm assuming you're gonna like equip it out with like like make it feel like an RV where you got like a little sink or some shelves and like things to cook inside of. That's what I'm assuming. Doing in Georgia, man. You got so many places to go. So many. By the way, we have a Bigfoot museum. You can go hunting for Bigfoot in your Sprinter van.
For me where all I do is sit and live stream and sit in front of the camera, which is great. But I don't feel like outside of YouTube and live stream, like I'm really growing much in my life. Like I don't really find myself um, experiencing much else in life. And I think part of
And though, if you're looking for like a project, something to grow with in time, so when you're like 60, you're just like chilling on your front porch looking at this freaking beautiful land you've created for the past 30 years. Get some land, man. Do it in Georgia. You don't have to worry about the snow and everything screwing it up all the time, brother.
that is my fault. Like I need to get out there and actually do it. But I think part of it is the environment. And like I've said, I live in a cabin, kind of, not like super
Yes.
in the boonies, but a little bit, and enough so that I don't really find myself going outside, um, really at all. To be honest, everything gets delivered. I mean, everything from toilet paper to food, in both ends of the cycle of life, kind of get delivered. Straight here, and even the YouTube plaques, that I love so much, they show up on the wall, all this stuff, like pretty much everything just gets delivered here, and that's probably not so good for the long term of it. So I'm looking at other places. I'm probably going to pull
That's
up some
fine.
houses today on the live stream and kind of like browse some of that stuff because I've been enjoying looking at these stuff lately. But honestly,
He says it's probably not so good from a mental state. Like you have everything delivered to you. You have no human contact. You're not getting out of the house to go travel around. You're not going to go speak with people. Just things are just being dropped off at your door. That's what he's talking about. Like it's probably not good for the long term. It's fine, but it's all about how you feel as an individual. And he says he's freaking done with it. I get that part. But the other way of looking at it is that you need to look at it a different way as well. It is fine. It's totally fine. It's all about how you look at it. But sometimes we need a break. And in this change, my man needs a change of life, so he wants to go a different direction of this. So that's totally okay with that as well. And I don't blame him. If you're tired of something, you're tired of something. It doesn't matter how many times you change your point of view on something to keep you somewhat content with it. Eventually, if it's literally a life sucking thing, a soul sucking thing that's going to take away all your joy, no matter how many times you try to change it, it's going to come back out. And you're going to be like, shit, I got to do something.
I could really use your advice on where you're from, what you think about it, where you might recommend, what the climate's like. Just
Atlanta, Atlanta area to be specific. The climate, we actually have 4 seasons. We have spring, we have summer, we have fall, and we have winter. We actually have 4 seasons. I'll tell you right now, up in the north, in the Midwest, like Chicago, you only have like, well, I guess you do have 4 seasons, but the fall is like super short. It's like a week, if that. Same thing for spring. You only have winter or basically summer up there. Down here, we have actual fall. So it'll be in between like 40 to 70 degrees for like 3 months, like end of September, all of October, November, and December. And it doesn't really get cold until like the tail end of December, all of January and February. And then March, right around the end of March, beginning of March, we start heating up again. Spring, same thing. It's like March, April, and May. Like so, at the end of May, that's when it starts cooking down here, and it'll be cooking all the way until September. So yeah, man, it gets cold down here. I want to say like the high 20s during the coldest parts of this time is the high 20s and low 30s. Stark contrast to what Alaska and what the North faces. I've been up in negative 15 in North Dakota. I've been in -5 over there in Detroit. So I know what cold is like, and it don't get like that down here in the South, brother. So you can be rest assured you will not be shoveling any snow off your freaking front porch, man.
just come by and tell your story during the live stream today. That's really about it. Or if you can't come by the live, leave a comment for me and let me know where you're from, why you like it. Well, give me a sales pitch. You know,
I tried, man. I'm not the best salesman. All I can tell you is from my experience and everything that I've done, there's no place like Georgia. You want to live somewhere where you have access to everything. Even if it's not the best of everything, you still have access to it. Mountains, beaches, rivers, lakes, forests, countryside, cities. Georgia's got it all. And good communities. And a lot of creativity here. So, Darth, I really do hope you figure out where you want to go, man. This video was, man, I didn't even know what I was going to do today when I sat down in this chair. Like I had no ideas. So I was like, let me just watch a couple YouTube videos, because I was just sitting here in silence. I had my Office Libre pulled up to write some scripts or something. And I was just like, I have no motivation today for writing, at least. I had no creativity, is what I should say. Sorry. I had no creativity today. I was kind of like at a loss. And I was just watching videos and I saw Darth, I want to move out of Alaska. And immediately I went, oh no. Like something bad is happening, right? And then I click on it and yeah, something bad is happening, but to a different degree. Not because there's a secret volcano in Alaska about to blow up, but my man Darth is having I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. I feel like he's having some mental health going on there. Like it's not healthy for him. He needs a change in his life. And mental health is a big thing to me. Actually, I got a hour and a half long video of me talking about mental health and I never posted it because I got very dark on it. And but people need to take this seriously and just try to help out a little bit more. So Darth, hope you're happy with whatever you do, brother. Like I said, if you don't want this reaction video up, totally get it. I'll take it down. But I just wanted to share, from 8 years of truck driving, my time all around the lower 48 states. I'm not just picking Georgia because this is where I'm from. I'm picking Georgia because it's well rounded. I've I've been everywhere. I've been to places where I wanted to move out of Georgia immediately because I thought it was so beautiful and the people were kind. But then I realized, well, shit, they don't have this though. They don't have that. They don't have this. Georgia has all that. Or if it doesn't have it, it's like in, a short distance to get to it. Because Salt Lake City, Utah, that was pretty. That's like out in the middle of freaking nowhere. Nowhere. That's like Courage the Cowardly Dog type of nowhere. Anyway, um, yeah, man, just good luck, and I hope you really do some research and other people chime in and give you more information about where you should move to, or the reasons why. But I think you would feel strongly enough to say that you'd probably be making a mistake if you didn't come down to Georgia, or at least a visit first, right? And don't just visit Georgia once. Visit this sucker 3 times. Hit up the Atlanta area. Then come and then when you're in Atlanta, try to like travel outside of Atlanta, like 30 minutes outside the city to the surrounding cities like Norcross, Lilburn, Duluth, Sewanee. Go to Cobb County, go up to Marietta, check out Stone Mountain, Georgia. Just like fill your shit up with a lot of stuff to do. Bring that backpack, brother. Get the backpack, brother. Man, do something. Make a live stream. Walk around, man. Check out everything, brother. There's so much stuff to do.
Because I've got to get out. And like I've said this many times before, but I have got to get out of Alaska. Like I'm drowning here,
I'm telling you,
and
bro.
that's just kind of how I feel today. That's about it, really.
Later, Darth. So I hope you guys go over there and give Darth a like, a subscribe, and leave a couple of comments of your suggestions where he should move to. Um, just help him out. I can tell like he's done with Alaska. He's done with that snow. So just give some recommendations. I personally think like Alabama, maybe even Virginia. But Virginia's got some snow too. I feel like Atlanta and specifically Georgia is just a really good gateway state. And Atlanta, even more so. It's like the crossroads of everything out of the Southeast. It's not too far to get anything. So anyway, go over there, leave him a like, leave a comment, and I'll have the video link of his video that we just watched. And hopefully Darth was here to look at this as well. In my description of this video. But yeah, that's about it. You guys stay safe out there. Darth, stay safe, bro, and good luck. Peace.